I'm Jason Gray. I'm one of the licensed brokers here at the Modern Insurance Store, and I help my clients understand their different insurance needs. I got started in insurance. I come from a background of just helping and serving others. So this is a role that allows me to help people understand what their needs are and make sure that we cover those gaps and they're covered properly. My main focus right now is I help folks with their Medicare needs, which is a big issue. I'm sure you're probably someone, if you're in that category, that is getting inundated with calls right now, texts, emails. It's really even hard to know what direction to go. So I would say that's where, for me, that's where my heart comes in, and helping people understand their options and really understanding what choices they have as they start Medicare for the first time, because it can be extremely confusing. Everybody is telling you what you have to do. They're trying to sell you something instead of really coming from the heart of a teacher. Let's understand how this process works and why do we even need to make a decision yet, or do we even need to start Medicare at this time? Yeah, as far as a memorable experience, one that I go back to is I had a client that asked to review her life insurance. Her and her husband wanted to review their life insurance policies because they hadn't done so in about 25 years and thought they knew what coverage they had until we called, only to find out that she was about a week away from her policy lapsing. By having that conversation, we got a better understanding of what her coverage was, and then we were able to put a game plan together to make sure that as a couple, they were able to get the coverage they needed to satisfy what their goals were based on their own insurance needs. And without us doing that review, her policy would have expired, and then they would have been left without coverage that they expected to have when they originally got their plan set up 25 years ago. I think the Modern Insurance Store is set apart by the way that we're able to help our clients, whether that's from a local perspective or even over the phone. Many times our clients are working, they have busy schedules, busy lives. We're able to help those clients over the phone as well as in person at our office here locally in Bethel, Ohio. Whether that is you're in, down in Texas, if you're in Georgia or Alabama, out in Missouri, or right here in Ohio, we can help you with any of those ways. The other thing that sets us apart is really from our culture and the heart of where we come from. We really lean into the needs of our specific clients. There's not a one-size-fits-all. So I really dive in with what are your specific needs as a client? Because you may have seen an advertisement on TV, you may have a family member that already has coverage in place. Maybe you have a friend that's telling you, oh, you have to check out this type of policy or this plan, but they have different needs, they have different doctors, different medications than you take. So what I really dive into is your specific needs. Then from that, we can develop a game plan on what makes most sense for you based on what your needs are, not necessarily from everybody around you that's telling you a direction of which way to go. Let's understand what our options are, and then from that, we can dive into what your specifics are. So I think for us, what sets us apart is really diving into the specific needs of a client and not really this one size fits all that a lot of these companies are going to, these larger companies in the industry, that is, this is the plan in the area to sell everybody, so this is the direction to go. So really just diving into the hearts of an individual client and what their specific needs are. One of the most rewarding things that I get out of being a broker and helping my clients is just making sure we get the coverage set up that is specific to you, and really cutting through all of the noise and just making this process much simpler as you're starting Medicare for the first time. Or some of my clients have been on Medicare for years and still don't understand their coverage because they didn't even know there was somebody like me that could help them through this process. So that's probably the rewarding thing, is when people actually reach out to me. Not only do we get all their coverage in place, but then afterward there's the question of how much do I owe you, and realizing that there is no cost for our service, and we were able to help them through this whole process, get all their coverages aligned properly, and now they have a better understanding of how Medicare works and what gaps they had with their coverage, and we made sure to cover those if that was something that they needed. One of the ways we're definitely helping clients is because we help clear through that clutter and that noise, you can just ignore all those spam calls that come through from all these different call centers, and really have an understanding that because we're a broker, we work with those large insurance carriers, we don't really have a dog in the fight one way or the other. It really comes down to that client. And now, not only are we educating you on how the process of Medicare works, or how your other coverages are working, and making sure that everything is falling in place the way that you want it to, you have a much clearer picture of how your coverage is working for you and the way it's covering those gaps that maybe you didn't even realize. Maybe you have the right policy in place, but you didn't understand how it worked. And so my goal with those clients and helping them is helping them understand how that coverage works and how it covers the different gaps that they wanted. So when you get off the phone or leave the office, when we finalize that conversation, you just have a much better feeling and understanding of how your coverage functions and how it actually covers the gaps that were left by only having Medicare by itself. Right now, I'm in that life stage of family is where I go outside of work. Wife and I, we have 4 kids now. Age ranges from 7 to 5. My son will be 2 come January, and then our newest addition is about 5 months old. So really for me, that's my hobby outside of work right now, is focusing on family. Walking in that door, coming home from work, they're just, daddy's home, daddy's home. So that's really my focus once I get outside of work, is just spending time with my children and my wife and building into them. And then just because that's the stage that I'm in right now, especially with all of the little ones.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you found our discussion helpful, please give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon to stay updated with our latest content. Your support helps us keep bringing you more informative videos. See you in the next one.